Hey everybody, I'm here in Photoshop and I'm going to show you how to do transparency. What's going to happen is the screen is going to follow my cursor, and where I'm going to be able to find opacity is over here, and I'll be able to slide this opacity from 100%, meaning it's solid opaque, you can't see through it, down to 29, 30, 31, 32, 30% or so you can start to see through it. And you just may have to fiddle around with this until it works the way you want it to work. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to open up Snake 1. Open. Here's Snake 1. And what I'm going to do is then I'm going to put on top of it a second one. So I'm going to open my second one and get Snake 2. Oops, I didn't click it. And here's Selector Marquee tool across it. And what this will do is this will select all of the image, and I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to move to my earlier image. I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to paste it in. Alright, so if I go over to my layers, you can see that I have two layers, my background image and my top layer. Okay, now at this point you only see the one layer, but if I take the opacity down to 50% or lower, you should be able to see through. So I'm going to take the slider and move it over, and at this point I can see it sort of 50-50. Alright, and if I wanted to measure how much the head has moved from here to here, I can do that. I can also create a new layer. So I'm going to go to Layer, New, Layer, say OK. And on this new layer, I can paint a red dot on the head so I can go from one to the next. So I'm going to go get my paintbrush. So I'm putting a red dot here, and I'm putting a red dot here on the snake's other head. And it's hard to see, isn't it? So what I can do is I can come over to my layers, and these eyes, I can turn off the eyes, which means that you don't see it. And now I can come back here and I can see these red dots just a little bit better. I'm going to darken those just a little bit more so they come out even closer. Okay, so this is how you would set up a image so you can see through it. You just have to make sure that you change your opacity. So the opacity of this layer is 50%. You see it right in here. And over here is what it looks like. So right now all I'm showing you is how to set up the opacity. This is Photoshop. So next I'm going to do the same thing in Sumo. So I open up Safari. I've got Sumo saved as a favorite. So this is the website, www.sumopaint.com, and you can see that it's loading. And now it wants to know what I want to do, and so I want to open up something from my desktop. So I'm going to go Snake 1 like I did before. Open. And here's Snake 1. And what I want to do is I want to create a new layer. So I go up to Layer, Add New Layer, and just like with Photoshop, here's a way for you to adjust your new layer. So the opacity is 100% right now as a default. Alright, so I'm going to import to layer from my computer snake number 2. I have to say OK. And here's snake number 2. Now, Sumo automatically created its own layer for this. So this is fine. I go up to this layer and I select it. And I'm going to change my opacity down to 50% because I have 2 of them and I just want to see halfway through. And if I come up here, you can see it shows me pretty much the same thing as we did in Photoshop. So I'm still in Sumo Paint. Okay, so here's the one snake head, here's the other snake head. And what I want to do is I want to be able to measure the distance. So here's the ruler. So one of the things I can do is I can go to one of these layers. Let's say I go to this layer right here. And I'm going to work in that layer. And I'm going to create a line. And this line's going to go from the tip of that head, or tip of that snake, to this one. Okay. So I can now turn off these layers and I can see that length right there. And it gives me my info. It gives you an X and Y location right here. So I can go from here, and although I can't show you this picture, it says that the X is 68, the Y is 306, and over here it's showing me that the X is 33 and the Y is 217. I'll add this as a screenshot for what we're doing. So here's the screenshot, and up in the upper right you'll see I'm training now onto the info zoom window. Here it says the X is 212 and the Y is 239. If I want to, I can turn back on the background layer so I can see my ruler, and I'm going to activate layer 1. This is the one I want to use. Clicking on it. You can only work in the layer that you've clicked on. And I'm going to move this guy right here. So I've moved the line, and what I want to do is I want to free transform it. And what I can do is, do you see how the lines are changing? It goes from rotate to make larger. Rotate is the circle curve one. And so what I do is I just spin that until it lines up with my ruler, and I can measure that line. So here's my line. Let's see if I can zoom in to see this better. Alright, so here we are down at the bottom, and we have inches on this side, it looks like, and we have centimeters on this side, and I can see that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5 centimeters. So the snake head moved 8.5 centimeters. Pretty easy, huh? Alright, well, good luck with all your work.